Happy Friday Eve, everybody. Hope you all have had a wonderful week so far, and hopefully you guys are going to have a wonderful weekend. Happy early 4th of July. How many of you guys are going to have tomorrow off? I know that I have tomorrow off, and I'm looking forward to it. Katrina, you don't have tomorrow off. That's surprising. So my company had the grace to decide to give us the 3rd off as a 4th of July observed. I get a float holiday I can use at any time. Well, then why didn't you use it for tomorrow? I don't earn it until the 4th. Oh, wow. What a shitty loophole. Well, that sucks. But at least you'll end up with, like, the holiday for a paid day off. Do you have to request it in advance, or do you just get to use it, like, on short notice? Like, could you use it on a Wednesday? Excuse me. Could you use it on a Wednesday after a Tuesday night that goes, like, really late or something? Two weeks in advance. God, that sucks. At that point, just save it for October. Man, this guy's got a really bad mold line right through the center of his helmet that I did not notice before. But at least it isn't the month in advance. Bullet my manager was originally trying to pull. Oh, yeah, wow. A month in advance? That would also suck. But 2 weeks is reasonable. A month in advance is rough. Okay. Well, if you were on the Discord, then you got a little bit of a idea of what we're going to be working on tonight. I finally have enough miniatures to where I feel like I can put together and maybe even play my White Company White Company faction for Infninty. So tonight we're going to be putting together the remainder of my miniatures that I have for White Company. And there are some special gems that are off to the side over there. And we'll get to them. But first we're going to build all the standard newer models. And then when maybe we're a little further in and have a few more people watching, I can show you guys all of the killer finds and killer deals that I got on them. I was playing, someone promoted me and just demanded I add them on Discord or WhatsApp. Like, no. So it's all coming up. Not roses for me. I was playing someone. In a game I was playing, someone promoted me. Just demanded I add them on Discord or WhatsApp. Yeah, that's weird and suspicious. So up here at the top, we have our assembled models that are going to be for White Company so far. And then we have these five miniatures. And then we have to the side another 6. So it's just going to be a bit of a chill night, chit-chatting, hanging out, putting together some metal statues. I've had to make some calculated decisions on these models because some of them are crossover miniatures, right? So White Company is comprised of miniatures from Pan-Oceania faction and the Yuching faction. And Yuching White Banner is what I have been playing mostly so far in Infninty and really loving it. So for example, these 2 models back here are technically Yuching miniatures, but they're also playable in White Company. So I have a total of 3 of these models, and one of them already has paint on it for Yuching, and then this one you can buy as an individual model. So if I really want a second one for my Yuching force, I'll just buy another one of these and then be good to go. Everything else here is for Pan-Oceania, and instead of playing a regular Pan-Oceania force, I'm just using all of them for Yuching. Same thing with these 2 guys. These are both Yuching models, and this one and another one come in a pack together, and I decided if I really want this in my Yu Ching faction, then I'll just buy another pack and have this model and an extra one left over. And then this one came with an old box of Yu Ching stuff, and I'm not really using it. So I've got technically a total of 3 of these. Yeah, same thing here. This one is technically a Yu Ching model, but it would be my second one. I have one that already has paint on it in my White Banner stuff. So the second one, I'll have one for each faction. So these 3 are already cleaned up and ready for glue. These 2 down here need to be cleaned up, have bits and stuff cut off of them, and then we can glue everything. So I think I'm going to start with the tedious stuff by cleaning the miniatures up a little bit, and then we'll glue stuff together and move on to all our special extra miniatures, or the special hard to find stuff. So Katrina, what game were you playing where someone now is demanding you to like add them on Discord? That's kind of weird. A mobile game or something? Paranoid? It's a new mobile game. It sounds like it has something to do with zombies. No, actually close though? Okay. What is your mobile game about? Parasitic aliens. Oh, fun. So are you paranoid that you're going to be attacked by parasitic aliens? Also, that just sounds like the movie Aliens. They are in fact parasites that use us as hosts. You send it to Earth, find a host, and start using the host body to eat people. Yeah, so we're still on track for the movie Aliens. character is immune and seems to be fully controlled. Very cool. So it's a mobile game connected to a comic. That's fun and different. Ooh, so it's an unfinished story. That's even more fun. Oh wow, that's a big piece of flash. I'm gonna have to work for that one. Honestly, not too bad. I thought that was gonna be worse. I'll be fine. I've cut myself many a times in the process of hobbying, and only once has it been really bad. Where I was like, ooh, that was really deep, and I might need to go to the hospital. But I was fine. Luckily, it was a very new, very sharp X-Acto knife. It was a very clean cut. See, the best part about the fact that the Infninty models are made of metal is that sometimes it's really hard to gauge how much pressure you need to get through the metal. So it's kind of a, like, press and see how much it goes through, and then hope that it wasn't too much pressure to go through, and then it goes into your finger. I mean, you're off screen, but thank you for the reassurance. Yeah. Also, like, a lot of the times when you see me, like, trimming a piece of flash, the thicker stuff. Let's see. Gosh, he's almost perfect. Oh, here we go. So, like, now my camera isn't set to autofocus so that you guys can see all the models down here. So there's a little piece coming off the bottom of his foot, like right here by the tip. Yeah, let me see if I can straighten it out. There we go. Got a little piece coming off his foot right there. Usually my goal is to cut into another piece of metal that will stop the blade. Or if I have to cut toward myself, I am cutting to hit my fingernail before I hit the fleshy part of my finger. So, worst case scenario, I cut my fingernail before I cut into my finger. This is a super cool miniature, and I am super excited to get to paint him. When I finally get around to painting my White Company stuff. Oh no. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So this is a super cool mini, and I am excited to paint this model once I finally get around to painting my White Company. The first time I saw this thing, I was like, oh man, that's super cool looking. I gotta figure out what box that comes in. This guy is called a Jujak. And they all carry heavy flamethrowers. That's what this big massive thing is. It's like a multi flamethrower that shoots a big like automatically hit template. No, you don't need to have emergency services on speed dial. I'm completely fine. How do you glue metal together? Super glue. Whenever the hell my camera decides it wants to catch up. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, how do you glue metal together? I use Gorilla Glue Gel Super Glue. This is a really strong, thick super glue that so far I haven't had the bond of the super glue break at all. Oh, that's not glued in. The only downside to using super glue, especially like the thick gel super glue, is that it has a tendency to not set very quickly, which you'll see here in a few minutes when we start actually gluing stuff together. But I have a trick for that. Yeah, it was frozen. I think we're good again. Is it still frozen for you, or is the video moving again? File down all these metal burrs so that when we finally get to painting this army, I don't have the same situation that I ran into with the last one where I was like, man, there's a mold line on this and now there's nothing I can do about it. I am not looking forward to messing with my Imperial Service Yu Ching faction because I got it secondhand and the guy that put them all together didn't really care about the finish of the miniatures. I think he was just trying to put them together so he could start playing. And while I don't fault people for that. Maybe hold on to those. If you're gonna do that, not try to sell them to somebody after the fact. What do I know? I also know that not everybody in the world is as OCD as I am when it comes to the fit and finish of their miniatures. So before I start painting those, I have to go through them, check them for burrs, clean them up. And then prime them. They also cut all the... So I actually technically got them for free. I traded my Warhammer army for his Infninty army. Which to me was a pretty solid deal, considering the fact that I no longer wanted anything to do with Warhammer. But I think in the long run I got a better deal out of it, because like buying the Warhammer models, I think maybe came out to less than having to buy all those Infninty models, because like not only did I trade for an army, but I traded for almost every unique model within that sectorial. Yeah, I would say they were roughly comparable. But there were models in my army that I didn't trade because they're older, like not accessible models anymore. Kind of like our special models that we have off to the left side. They're like out of production. You can't get them unless you buy them from somebody else secondhand. So I kept those Warhammer models. And then traded him everything that I had built and primed. I only had 5 like fully painted complete models at a high quality, and I kept those too. So he just got like the Warhammer models that I was using to play games. Because he now has less work and you have more. Yeah. I mean, he had plenty of work to do on those models because I hadn't really painted them. I painted a few that were like not high quality. They were like batch painting, production line style paint jobs. guess that's good. God damn. I'm gonna go all the way through. You just gotta keep your eyes out. A lot of our local discords have people that like come and go from the hobby because either they're not getting enough games or they're not happy with the army they picked and they want to switch to something different. Some people just have OCD and can't play the same army for more than, a year. And those are the people that you get really killer deals from. Like, it had to be 6, maybe 7 years ago now. But there was a guy that was selling Age of Sigmar stuff for the army that I wanted to play. And I probably got like $500 of models for 2. Yeah, Katrina, if you want to try to make some good deals on Warhammer stuff, I would say definitely keep an eye out on the Gamers Discord. Because there's people in there that are always buying and selling and wheeling and dealing for Warhammer models. Good Lord. All the way. All the way to the rim of the base. crafting? Like building models, or... I don't know what you mean, Katrina. Man, this thing still doesn't want to go? Oh, I'm right there. Ooh. Oh, jewelry making, candle making, gotcha. Sometimes you just kind of have to force yourself to make time for your hobbies. I know it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but that's literally like part of the reason that I started the stream, is like forcing myself to hobby, but also giving me a better like platform to share hobbying, or to feel like I'm hobbying with a group of people. Because like one of the things that like charges me to paint is painting in a group and with friends. So like hobby hangouts and like paint nights and stuff like that, like charge me to want to paint more. And having the stream makes it feel like I have people hanging out with me while I'm hobbying. So it actually encourages me to like paint more often. But also, like, you could totally bring that stuff to a game night. On our off weeks for D&D, right? Like, instead of us playing board games, we can, like, all just do our own, like, respective hobbies of some kind and hang out. Yes, I am, in fact, filleting a base. You have to be very careful in how you prepare your bases. Otherwise, they don't taste very good. And any texture, paste, and paint that you put on them will actually seep through into the paint and make it taste worse for you. So you have to be very careful when you fillet your bases. No, what I am doing right now is, as you can see here, there's a slot. There's this bar of metal that the feet of the model connect to. And that bar of metal needs something to fit into so that you can glue the model into the base. This is how we get miniatures with really thin legs and small feet to connect to our bases. Otherwise, if you drop it, it's just going to go flying. When inevitably the glue breaks. So this is a skewer for like barbecue. It's like an extended toothpick, right? That's how thin that leg is, right? It isn't much wider than this toothpick. So if you only had this tiny little contact point glued onto the top of the base, and then you drop it, it would just go dink and pop off. The solution to that, when you don't have this little bar, is doing something called a pin, where you drill a hole in the bottom of the foot, and then you take a piece of wire, you shove it up the foot, glue it into place, and then glue the pin through the base. But that requires very thin drill bits, precision to not drill through the leg at the wrong angle, and then having a pin that is thin and strong enough to hold itself into place when you drill it through the base. Or you just have a piece of metal that it's connected to. Because each model has a different size pin. So as you can see on this one, it's much smaller. And if it was like pre-drilled, like the slot went all the way from one end to the other, then it would be difficult to get this to like stay in place when you glue it. So instead of like pre-sizing the slots, they make it so that you can cut them yourself. So the slots in the base, I don't know if you can see it or not. There's like a cross where it runs in two different directions so that you can orient the model in the base. So Infninty has the line of sight like arch on their base. Here, let's get a painted one for you to see this a little bit better. Okay, so we have the finished Zhanshi model, and we have this little arrow, this little center line, and this little arrow. These are sculpted onto the base itself. Yes, and this model only had a little tiny pin, which you can't see because it has paint on it. Right, so the pin for the model for this one is only about that big. So in order for you position the model where you want it on the base, and then you kind of mark on top of the base by scoring lines where you want that piece of metal to go in whichever way you want the model facing. Right? So yes, instead of like pre-slotting miniatures, they just give you a base that can accommodate whatever mini needs to go onto it. Let's take this guy for example, right? Underneath this foot, there is no pin. There is no piece of metal. It's just glued down onto the base. On the underside, there's just a single circular pin where I drilled a hole and then stuck his foot into it. So same thing with this one. Actually, this one doesn't even have a pin, right? She just had a part here that is really flat where it's going to glue on, but the angles of the model made it so that I had to put something underneath the flat part so that it stood up the way it was supposed to. Same thing here. Small, thin piece of metal, one and a single connection point. So like, there you go, small pin for a really large base. This one, single little pin, 2 little feet connections. Now having the bar across the bottom makes the connection to the model or to the base a bit stronger. So, and the previous iterations of the bases, actually, I liked better than the current ones because the thickness of the plastic between like the underside and the top of the, like between the top of the base and the underside at the slit was way thinner, so it was a lot easier to cut through. But the new bases, the plastic is thicker and it takes you like scoring it. Yes, there's a wider variety of poses, and then you don't need as big of a model to have a large connection point onto the base. Is it more work? Yes. Is it worth it, in my opinion? Yes. Like, I went to go get bases this afternoon because I bought my special models off to the left side here. I bought secondhand. Some of them didn't come with bases, so I needed bases. Or the base that they came with was old and didn't have the line of fire markers on the base rim, so I wanted the newer bases to put them on. And the guys that I was talking to at the store were like, oh, I just cut that metal strip off and pinned the model. I'm like, well, I don't have drill bits that small, nor do I have pins that are that thin to like not worry about messing up the foot of the model. They're like, that's super fair. We'll see if we can find you some bases. Thankfully, they were able to find what I was looking for. Sounds like the thicker bases are a little more forgiving. Actually, no. The thinner bases were more forgiving. Because you could almost, like, just take this bar and press it onto the top of the base where you wanted to put your model, and it would like leave an indent so that you could see exactly where you needed to cut. And cutting through it took like 15 seconds. Like, it was really fast. Oh, come on. All right. Clear all this metal dust off of here, and then we'll get these guys glued together. Uh-oh. Am I frozen again? No. Okay, cool. Just lagging behind a little bit. Unhinged suggestion, heat the many, press it into the plastic. Honestly, I don't know how unhinged of a suggestion that is. I might have to try that. Maybe I'll try it on models that I care a little less about. Alright. So let's glue the backpacks onto my Tiger Soldiers first, and then move on to the rest. You can melt it in a little frozen friend. No longer. Yeah, like I said, I'd have to pick a model that I maybe cared a little less about, and I would try heating up the metal and seeing if just like pressing it into the base would work. Oh, come on. Try not to get glue everywhere. Fuck. Ah, see? This is what I was talking about. Sometimes the glue doesn't want to set. It takes a little longer because it's thicker. This is that exact situation. Yeah, doesn't want to set. Oh, the stream was frozen. Gotcha. Now you get to watch me struggle with my glue not drying fast enough. But, again, I said earlier, there is a solution to that, which is this wonderful concoction. And voila, like magic, it's glued in place and not going nowhere. So that is a super glue accelerant. It makes your super glue dry instantly. The only downside to that is that it makes the glue a little brittle. But this is really strong glue that is, I wouldn't say it's specifically designed for metal, but when I was first getting into Infninty, I did research on like glue that was really good for metal models, and this was recommended by numerous people as being like the strongest super glue to use on your metal miniatures. I missed some mold lines. Okay. Now we make sure orientation in the base is correct. Yes. Now I know a lot of people that don't really care about which way the model itself is facing, right? Like they're gonna place the miniature so that like it faces, so that you get like the best viewing angle. And this is the front of the model. But I like to do it so that for gameplay wise, the front of the model, which is the little line on the base here, is actually the direction that the miniature is facing, right? So the person is looking forward this way, and this is the front of the line of sight arc. So that is the way I like to position my miniatures when I have the chance. And then because we're going to be gluing some guys into bases, especially this one, I will put the model on a paper towel while it's drying, or while it's drying of being glued in the base, because if you don't, then it will leave like little white marks on my cutting mat, and I don't want that. Oh god, that was so much glue. That's gonna make a mess. And sometimes they go together perfectly on the first try. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Unnecessary, Aurora. Okay, that's 2 down. 1 more to go. Oh, I missed a small step. Ah, it's always the little pieces that just don't want to set right. Yeah, you still gonna wobble around? Wow. Okay. And a quick bit of glue on the underside here. And then we wait for that to set. Okay, not too bad. Hour and a half in. 5 models all done. We'll let these sit and set. And then I am going to jump up, get a little bit of water. And then we'll work on our mystery special models off to the side here. Oh, hello. Is there glue on my finger? So we will be right back. Alrighty, we're back and ready to rock. So, fun, special, cool miniatures for White Company. Models that I am very excited for and have been dying to show you guys since the beginning of the stream. So, first and foremost, we have a base for a standard size model. I know, riveting. That standard size model is a character. This character is known as John Hawkwood. He is in the lore of Infninty. I know, I used the cursed word lore and backstory. So this faction in Infninty was founded by this character. And let me see if I can get him in focus for you. Here we go. So this faction in Infninty was founded by this character. They are mercenaries, and the leader of this mercenary group is John Hawkwood. This model has 2 sculpts to it. The primary sculpt that was the only release to the general public is out of production, right? You can't just buy it in a store anymore. You have to find somebody that has one and wants to sell it to you. The other version of the model was only available in a Kickstarter for Infinity's version of a board game called Defiance. This is the Defiance sculpt for John Hawkwood. And I think it looks so much better than the regular sculpt. Just to give you guys an idea of what that sculpt looks like, we're gonna do a screen capture share. There we go. So this right here is the normal sculpt for John Hawkwood. He's like running forward. He has the same sword and the same gun, but his pose is like dynamic running forward and stuff like that. I wish my thing would focus or finish rendering. So that's the mass market one that came out for everybody, right? I think the Defiance sculpt looks way cooler. The next miniatures that we have are also special out of production models in our fun Corvus Belly box. So I got these secondhand from somebody, new, in box, still on their basic sprues, untouched, and they are like some of the first units that define, that are like, I think these are probably some of the only models that are unique to this faction and only this faction. And that is Kaplan Tactical Services. So all 4 of these miniatures were in this box, new, untouched, and ready to be put together. But there's also an additional little surprise in this box. Of a tag. So tags are big, super powerful robots. They're larger than other Infninty models by a long shot. Let's see. Let's show you a tag that's put together. And realistically, the easiest way to describe a tag is the mech suits from Avatar. Blue people Avatar, not Avatar The Last Airbender. So I have one other tag in my collection currently. Well, correction, I've got 2 tags in my collection. Another one that isn't built for a different faction. But this is a tag. This is known as a Guija. This model is also playable in White Company and Yu Ching. So it will be hard to decide whether or not I want to paint this model in my Yu Ching colors or if I want to paint this model in White Company colors. But this is a big, massive hunk of metal. Like, that's the size comparison between, well, here, let's go. This is a basic trooper. Oh God. And compared to a tag. Like, they're big. Lots of points, lots of armor, lots of wounds, but a big fat target on the table. So technically the Guija is playable in White Company, but I have a different tag called Scarface. Now this is also an old version of this tag. So we'll jump over to our screen share again. So these are the 3 tags that you can play in White Company. This is the most current version of the Scarface miniature. The other version is the Anaconda, and if I get the Anaconda, it will definitely be this sculpt. It is the new one, and it is super cool in comparison to the old one. However, I'm sure you can tell that this probably isn't going to look the same. Let's see, out of production. Mercenaries. So our tag is going to look like this. Oh goodness. Our tag is going to look like this. This is what our version of Scarface looks like. Again, I think this version's way cooler. And this is from an older version of the game when this model was still made out of metal. The new sculpt is made out of unicore. So that's that like resin plastic that I've talked about in the past. So those are our 6 models remaining. Oh, sorry. I was on the wrong thing. I don't know how much of that you guys caught or didn't catch. The new sculpt of Scarface is it's a version of plastic, the unicore, like resin plastic that you've heard me talk about in the past, and the old version, the one that we have here, is still all made out of metal. So with that said, we have 5 miniatures to build. What do you guys want to see first? And by you guys, I mean you, Katrina, because you're the only one here. And I appreciate you so much for sticking around. No, the new sculpt is not bendy. The new sculpt is that really high quality. It's like a resin cast plastic. It's like a mix between resin and a hard plastic miniature. It's a really nice material. But I think the pose of the old Scarface is way cooler than the new pose. Which is why when I saw this, I was like, oh, I have to get this thing. It was also probably cheaper to buy the old version of the model than to buy the new version of the model, surprisingly. Because for some reason, people that play Infninty don't like metal miniatures. And like that's the whole reason I started playing this game. So we have 3 options of stuff to work on right now. We can work on putting together Scarface. We can work on putting together John Hawkwood, or we can work on putting together our Kaplan tactical service miniatures. We can do Scarface. It is a big heavy lift model. What is going on here? I am so sorry, chat. My camera is having a mind of its own. Okay, we're good. Now we're in focus. The only thing with Scarface is that he is going to probably require pinning, which we can do, and you guys can see the process of how to pin a model. But if we're going to do Scarface, then I think before we dive into doing Scarface, I'm going to put together John Hawkwood, because he's all prepped and just ready to be glued. And then we can really dive into Scarface. Now, every tag comes with a pilot, right? Like, maybe shaming the camera is, way to camera. Yeah, maybe. So, like the Guija here, if you can see it, they got the little baby arms here, right, sticking out. And this is the pilot inside the machine operating it. And a lot of the tag miniatures, at least the old ones, came with a secondary miniature, so that when this thing takes enough damage, the pilot can eject from the big mech suit and then run around like a little miniature like this. So usually tags will come with 2 minis. There is no unique miniature for the Guija, and the unique miniature for Scarface didn't come with the old one, unfortunately. So that would be the only reason for me to get the new version of Scarface, so that I have the actual pilot miniature. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you woofing about over there? But, oh, she's got a lot to say now. But let's do Hawkwood, and then we can move over to Scarface. Yeah? Yeah, did you hear me? What? You're so freaking cute. Oh, thank you for burping in my face. Come here. Do you want to say hello to the peoples? Come back. Aurora. What? Yes. Say hello, peoples. Hello, chat. Oh, good girl. She's laid down right next to me. Dog tax. Yep. Alright. I promise I'm not going to shake the camera around anymore after that. He is awesome. His profile is, like, for gameplay, is absolutely bonkers. He's a decent amount of points, but for all the things that, like, he does in the game, worth it for the points that he costs. Ah, crap. I had a feeling that that wasn't locked in just yet. Okay, while that sets, we're gonna work on getting a pin for his base. How do I want to position him? Right there. I'm gonna try a trick that somebody recommended to me. So I want him about right there. And take a little bit of paint. We're gonna dip the end of his pin in the paint. And we're gonna position the model roughly where we want it. And now that marks where my pin is gonna be at, so I know where to drill. Now, yeah, that pin's wide enough. I might need an actual drill bit, but I can at least start it with the X-Acto. a little bit wider. Looks like we're going to need to do a little bit of bending. I got shavings of plastic all over the place. Now, usually, if the pinhole that I need is any bigger than this, I'll usually go and get my Dremel set out and then use a Dremel tool. And you know what I just realized? I even said earlier today that I didn't know how I wanted to do my bases for my white company. So I wasn't going to use my really good super glue. And what did I just do but use my really strong super glue? Awesome. And he's locked in already. Well, I guess if I want him off of that base, I'm gonna cut the base. All right. On to Scarface with all his bits and bobs. Now I'm probably going to have to get my Dremel set out for this so that I can pin certain pieces. Right, the problem is with using the good glue is that being able to separate it from the base afterward means I'm going to have to destroy the base. I'll probably have to put it in the freezer as well to try to get the super glue to like separate and break. By the way, if you didn't know that about super glue, if ever you're trying to get super glue to like if you're trying to separate something that's super glued together, put it in the freezer for like half a day, and cold makes super glue brittle, and then you will probably have an easier time breaking the bond between the two pieces that are super glued together. That's asking for trouble right there. There we go. And you're right, Katrina. It's not like I can't go out and buy more bases. What I can't buy more of is the model if I bend or break the model. Which is why I wanted to not use the gel super glue, so that if I had to separate it from the model, I was less worried about harming the miniature. Because again, these are now like rare, out of print, hard to find miniatures. Like, I've never seen the Defiance sculpt for John Hawkwood for sale anywhere. And I think if the person selling it on Facebook had listed the fact that that was the Defiance sculpt, somebody would have snatched it up long before I found it. Like I said, I thought I was getting the other version where he's like running forward. And when I received my package in the mail, I was like, wait a second, this isn't the sculpt that I was looking at previously. So then I had to look it up, and I was like, oh shit, this is a Defiance model. And they are, again, they were like a Kickstarter exclusive. And they've never been re-released to the public. They were only available on that Kickstarter, and that's it. So I found out earlier today, I went looking to see if I could find that model available on eBay. And it is in fact available on eBay, but it was like almost $60 US plus like $13 shipping from Spain. And there was only one listing. I paid $20 for this. So, killer freaking deal. And to the Facebook seller that didn't have it listed correctly, thank you so much. And that is a piece that needs to be cut off. So yeah, I have been extremely excited to put together the models for this army because I've gotten some incredible deals on finding like valuable out of print models. Like the Kaplans, you can't buy in stores anymore. This version of Scarface, you can't buy in stores anymore. And every version of Hawkwood isn't available in stores. And like, these are all pretty like, maybe not Scarface, but like the Kaplans and Hawkwood are like pretty quintessential useful units to this sectorial. Now, granted, I do need some additional like character models that are still available. So I'm a little less like worried about it. Like I can proxy them in the meantime, but I'm still going to be able to pick them up like from a store whenever I'm ready for them. But some of these older models that are out of production, like you see them, you got to snatch them up, because if you don't, somebody else is going to, and then you'll miss your opportunity. Like there's a out of production, or I think it was a con exclusive version of the Guija, the first tag that I showed you, this guy. Like, there's a different version of this model, and it looks way cooler, and I want it, and I have not been able to find one. And there are a lot of little pieces on this guy. That's definitely the arm. And that's this arm. So this needs to get cut off right here. Where do these go? What would you use for a proxy? For like the smaller models, you can, you use another miniature. And you just say like, this model is this thing and this is its equipment. Like if I wanted to use a Scarface and I didn't have a Scarface, this model is technically the same size. As far as like the size of its base and like how tall it is. So like I could put this on the field and be like, this is a Scarface, even though the model is technically a Guija. Infninty allows that in their game, even when you go into tournaments. So like if you just can't get your hands on a model, or like John Hawkwood, out of production miniature that is very difficult to find in even not the Defiance sculpt. You can just pick another miniature from your collection, like this one, be like, this model is acting as John Hawkwood. And then as long as it's addressed and brought to your opponent's attention before the beginning of the game, you're fine. Like you can take it to a tournament, especially for miniatures like Hawkwood that aren't readily available. And of course you like go to the tournament organizer beforehand and explain, be like, this is my list, this is the model that I'm proxying, and then the tournament organizer will also know, so that there's no like dispute later on down the road of like, no, he moved his orc miniature, and like, no, that's not an orc, that's a different model. It was established before the beginning of the game. It was established before the beginning of the tournament. Like, everyone's aware, and it's allowed. So it's really cool. Try doing that at a Warhammer tournament. Joke's on you, you can't. It is cool. It also allows you to do what Skylar did in our last game of Infninty, right? Like the models that he bought are for a faction called Combined Army, and he wanted to try a completely different army. And he found a list online. He built the list. He brought his models. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to try something different. And then he took a picture of each miniature and then put and he took the pictures in order of the models that he had on his list so that he knew which model did what. And then he played a completely different army other than Combined Army because he wanted to try it. And it's totally something you can do with Infninty. Is that right? That doesn't look right. Out of production mercenaries. Give me that sweet, sweet reference photo. Yeah? Or is it supposed to be there? No. No, yeah, that's right. Man, that's weird and awkward looking. But that's okay. That's what these old miniatures are for. They're weird, eclectic, have lots of character to them. Because this is probably back when they were still hand sculpted. Oh man, that's gonna be a heck of a burp. Seems to keep things fair and also prevents the company from having to always have every mini available that they've ever put out. Yeah, I also like that that the old models are still like out there, and there's a collectability to the older models. Even if like the scaling isn't, like the size of the model isn't quite the same as it is for newer ones, because they're slowly scaling everything up so that things are easier to paint. But there is a dedicated group of people that like want to find the old models and paint them. Turn that burr into purr, yeah? Very, very carefully, very, very slowly take away metal until it's smooth, or it looks like it wasn't ever there to begin with. One of the perks of Infninty and Infninty models being made out of metal, like if you mar up the surface of the model itself, like Infninty is a very violent game in that things die very, very easy and very, very quickly. And the scrapes and scratches all over your model can just, if you're a good painter, be turned into like battle damage of like, oh, this machine was wrecked multiple times and has been put back together and continues to go out onto the battlefield type of situation. Okay, so the big round ones go on the arms. Question is, how is this positioned and which shoulder goes where? Let's try this one. Oh, there we go. And this is why we dry fit everything beforehand. Okay, so that goes with that one. And the square vents go on this as well? Good lord. Yeah, this bag are all the pieces for the torso and the head. It's like the gun that goes onto the back of it, the head, the little pieces, like there's like a neck guard that goes in the front of it. There's a lot of little bits to this model, which is probably why they updated it, because this thing's about as hard to put together as a Warhammer model and has as many pieces. Where did that? There it is. Yeah, I definitely see why they updated this model, because there are so many little pieces. Like earlier you saw the models that we put together over here, they were like 3, maybe 4 pieces to put together, and this thing is like 15. That fits on there like that. Maybe the other one will fit on there better. Here. I think they're about the same. I'm still really confused. Does it fit on the back side? Is that what this is for? No, it makes... Yeah, okay. So that is how this fits on this one. So it's like in reverse. That's wild. Let me see if I can find some other angles. Into Scarface. Images. Of course. Infninty. Yep. Okay. Confirmed. That is how that goes together. Which actually means that it's backwards. So this side, that looks way better. Goes on like that. Okay. See, man, that connection is so small. So it's times like that right here where I'm like, man, I really want to pin this. But pinning this would be an absolute nightmare because of the angle. I have to drill a pin in this way horizontally and then drill it horizontally that way. There's not a lot of room or height or depth, like, oof. Oh, hello. Hiding. Look at that. Little piece of flash. Okay, so we've got one last big piece here, which is the arm and the gun. So we'll clean this up. Then I think we're maybe gonna start gluing some of these pieces together. And then I think once we glue those pieces together, we're gonna call it for the evening. definitely fucked up the tip of this X-Acto blade. I think I messed it up when I was drilling the pin for Hawkwood. Oh. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. I was super focused and did not notice that everything was frozen. Everything should be back now. Kiwi, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We are working on putting together a big robot. So our models up here at the top of the screen. We had, let's see, what did we put together tonight? We put together all of these. And then now we are working, I think all of these are dry, so we can lose the paper towel. We're now working on putting together what's called a tag. And it's a big old robot, kind of like this guy. But a little different. This one's going to be in a different pose. It's an older, harder to find miniature. Just working on cleaning up some mold lines so that it makes the painting process better and easier. And then once we get the arms and legs all glued together for this, we're going to call it. What was that, Kiwi? Did Skylar take your phone? Oh, yeah, I had a feeling. just to give you an idea of what our finished product is going to look like, and you can show this to Skylar as well. So this is the model that we're working on currently. It is called Scarface, and Cordelia is the little miniature right here. I do not have that miniature, and it makes me sad. Yeah, usually if you don't find... Well, correction. Cordelia probably isn't going to be hard to find because, as I said, there's a new version of this miniature, which I believe also comes with a Cordelia non-aligned. Come on, computer. Work with me here. Which honestly, I'm okay with, because the new version of Cordelia looks way cooler. There you go. That's the new version of Cordelia. And then this is the new version of Scarface. He's got a big, like, two-handed axe right here that you can't see in this angle of the model. But he's, like, about to do, like, a giant overhead slam swing with that axe. I mean, I'm gonna keep my eye out for that old version, but the likelihood of me ever finding it is low. Also, Katrina, I think I know why you like the old version of Cordelia, because she's doing a peace sign with her sculpt. Her sculpt, one of her hands is like this in front of her face. It's a very anime girl pose. Which just goes back to the statement that I made when I was working on my Zanshi. Someone at Corvus Belly is definitely an anime girl person. And is 100% an ass man. Like, you don't get them sculpted, shapely round
Hey Google, turn off the kitchen.
booties. for no reason. I mean, it's all. There's also a unit in Infninty that are literally called cat girls. Like that is the legitimate name of the model is cat girls. Or sorry, not cat girls, cheer killers. Right? They're cheerleaders. Okay, we gotta cut this off, and then I think we're ready to glue. Once I get that file down. Also, Katrina, I've never heard this Pixar mom thing before. What is that about? I live under a rock. So, you know, conspiracy theory things like that, I've never heard before. Oh, almost like I did that on purpose. It flagged your... that's funny. You're not allowed to say it, but I can still see it. Oh, I can allow it. Yeah, sure. I don't care. There's an auto moderator message. Let me see if I can find the cheer killers. What is that? They're in the Nomads? Actually, likes it's all stars. It's a Bakunin. It's Bakunin. Maybe not. Nomads. Hey, botanist, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. I am currently distracted trying to find something for chat, and it looks like my video is frozen yet again. There we go. Well, chat, I am having trouble finding the... Oh, here. You know what? It would be way faster if I just Googled it. There it is. No, of course I can't make it bigger. Doing good, resting tonight. There you go, Kiwi and Katarina. These are the cheer killer models that I was talking about for nomads. I apologize that the pictures aren't very clear, but yes, they are in fact real miniatures. And then they just released new sculpts for a different Tunguska unit, and they look like cat girls. It's Corregidor? No, not Corregidor. There they are. The new Riot Girls. Yeah, Nomads are also a super cool faction that I plan to play, but they are last on the list. Okay, where were we? We were trying to get this to fit flush so that I can glue stuff. Okay, that one's good. Yeah, you love cute cat girls, and so do all the neckbeards that play Infninty. They're almost like a meme and a joke. Like, the people that play Infninty, like, just kind of have to laugh about it. Oh, look at that. Extra little piece of flash hiding there. This model has had so many little hidden pieces of metal that need to be cut away. But I think we are just about ready to glue this guy. At least the main part of his torso. I mean, Katrina, if you want to learn how to play Infninty, just let me know. I am happy to teach you how to play. Mosat Botanist, you guys showed up at just the right time because you get to see all the fruits of my labor this evening with this model, because we're going to start gluing. All of the hard work of cleaning off the extra little bits of metal and all the filing and all that other stuff is done. Okay. Glue. Yeah, let's do the arms first. By the way, chat, as a reminder, tomorrow we will have the second in the 4 videos of the CNN, 4 seasons CNN going up on YouTube. And my camera froze again. Man. Why are you being a pain, computer? There we go. Yes, let's see. Studio. Yes, tomorrow the second of the 4 seasons CNN is going to be going up onto YouTube. So don't forget to, on your day off, for those of you that have the day off tomorrow, like, comment, share, push the algorithm in my favor so we have more friends to talk to during our streams. Okay, which one of these goes where and which one? That looks right. But let's check this one just to make sure. Nope, that's the right one. We're gonna score this real fast so it has something a little bit better to stick to. this one. Yes. Okay. Also, finished pictures for the Four Seasons CNN, both fall and spring, are up on my Instagram now. Could just be a big fan of Elsa. More Friends is good. Friends is always treat. Yeah. I'm working on trying to expand the stream. And advertise it better. But we're still a small channel starting out. And there is nowhere to go but up right now. Well, I probably should have filed that for before I did that, but oh well. See if I can scrape that mold line. Wunderbar, like it never even was there. You think it took two? Yeah. I've also been considering trying to find another streamer that paints to collaborate and make like a little competition out of stuff. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, botanist. Find a miniature that we both have and see who can do it better. Yeah, I'm calling you out. Hey Google, why are you so stupid? Well, I'm glad it knows that it needs to be improved. Is it? Hey Google, cancel. Still talking.
Yeah, let's not sass the fucking Google.
I thought it was done.
He's the one who probably moved the pants.
I was just gonna say that. was like, do you think he did it?
It's also nearly 11 right now.
I'm aware. I'm gluing this and then I'm calling it a night. I'm trying to get it finished up. That smells good. My fiance is making banana bread. Her incredibly delicious banana bread recipe that she has gotten down to a science, and it is so delicious. I think her banana bread is even better than her candied almonds or pecans and walnuts that she does in the holidays.
I disagree with that.
Oh no, I think your banana bread's way better.
I had chocolate chips this time.
Oh, you had it. Oh, these aren't for us, are they? Hey.
There's 6 total.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna take small ones, mini ones.
Hey.
I was gonna take 2 to the girls at the store because I promised them I would.
Uh-huh.
And then I was gonna bring 2 for Shannon and Angelique.
I still, math says there's 2 left.
That is correct. There might be 1 left depending on whether I want to bring one for Karen tomorrow. It just feels a little awkward to not bring her one.
After all the crap she put you through, you're gonna give her banana bread too?
She did buy me cupcakes.
Okay, that's fair. No, Katrina, none for the table. Maybe next time. Yeah, there we go. Now I need some focus. You guys can actually see it going together instead of it being blurry as all hell. Oh no. I gotta look and make sure that I'm not putting this together wrong. I sure almost did put it together wrong. Because his hand is supposed to be pointing upward like this. Yeah. And yet again, I missed a mold line. That's a pretty big one, too. Ooh, tuna poke bowls. That sounds good. But swap tuna for salmon. Alright, that's better. Okay. This goes on the back here like this. Oh, do you not like salmon kiwi?
No, she doesn't like seafood.
She's literally making tuna poke bowls. How can she not like seafood? Kind of got it in there. She's right, tuna's the exception. And a few others like grouper. You know, if you like grouper, then you would also probably like redfish or snook. Oh. So wait, if you don't like shellfish, does that mean you don't eat shrimp?
That is correct.
Oh my goodness. I love shrimp so much I couldn't not. Oh. What is it about shellfish that makes you like turns it off for you? I'm curious.
What is there to like about shellfish?
It's delicious. My fiance in the background helping your case being like, what's there to like? It's gross. I'm like, no.
You're literally eating the things that like eat ocean shit.
Uh-huh.
Put a filter on our toilet and then eat it. Nice.
Don't think too hard about it.
No, I will.
And just enjoy the flavor.
There's nothing to enjoy.
Oh, that's where you're wrong. But that's okay. I still love you.
It's also one of the foods that you're most likely to get sick with. So, Our bodies were not meant to adjust.
I have one more piece to glue. I know. Going as fast as I can.
Hand it back to me. Where are regular sheets, honey? Not the flat sheets.
Fitted sheets?
Yep.
They should be in the closet with all the comforters and pillowcases and stuff.
I don't see it.
Then they're all dirty.
I'm not tall enough to look.
Okay, I will look in just a minute. Like I said, I'm gluing this last piece and then I'm done. Ah, damn it. This is the one that I was the most worried about. Okay, so we're very carefully going to set this down and let this dry and set overnight. But that is the body of our Scarface miniature all done and glued together. Over the weekend, I'm probably going to finish all the rest of the little bits that go on the back in the bag here, and then I'll probably post on the Discord everything all finished. But with that, I am going to call it an evening. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday. If you have to go to work tomorrow, I'm very sorry. I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July. Stay safe. Try not to blow off any fingers. And don't forget to keep it weird. Have a good night, everybody.